Welcome to Film Talk Weekly Radio. This is your guest host, Castle Searcy, with the Santa Fe International Film Festival. Today, I'm here with Rich. Is it Rich or Richard?
That's Rich.
Rich
Yeah.
Carrillo. Am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Rich is an actor and producer out of Brooklyn, Bushwick, New York. But we met because you have ties to Colorado in the Santa Fe neighborhood of Colorado. Why don't you tell us about that to start? Like, what do you know about Santa Fe and Colorado?
Well, I grew up in Southeast Colorado in a small town called La Junta, which is an hour east of Pueblo down Highway 50. And it's a good hour and a half drive to the border of New Mexico to Raton, and about a 4-hour drive to Santa Fe. And as a kid, my dad would take me and my brothers down that way very often. He loved it down there. We spent a lot of time in Taos, in Wagon Mound. He was an archaeologist, and so he worked down that way a bit too. And his whole expertise was within the Native American to the settlers transitioning in the
Cool.
West, in the Southwest. So that was where he focused. So yeah, we'd spend a lot of time down there. I used to go on digs down there with him too as a kid.
Yeah, I was going to
in the
ask
summer.
that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, I loved
Cool.
it. Yeah, yeah. So that's my connection there. Oh.
Okay. And you're still partly based in Colorado, or you
I
spend time?
am. Yeah, I do try to spend a couple months, 3 months out of the year there. I do have an old house that was passed down to me that I've been renovating for quite some time in La Junta, and that's wrapping up soon, hopefully. But yeah, it gives me a chance to get out of the city and kind of get back to some sort of calm, and especially it being a place where I'm from, had to getting some kind of groundedness. Sometimes you kind of become untethered out here.
Yeah.
But yeah, from there too, it's over the last 3-4 years, I really started rediscovering New Mexico and Santa Fe specifically. Again, I've been spending a lot of time out there whenever I head out that way. So yeah,
Cool.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
please come to the Santa Fe International Film Festival this year.
that's the plan.
Yeah, it's in October. So, how long have you been untethered out here in Brooklyn?
I'm coming on about 9 years in Brooklyn. I was in LA before that. Went to college out there and studied theater at UCLA.
Okay.
So that kept me in LA, auditioning a lot, working a bit, playing music. I really got caught up in playing music out there, drumming for an indie rock project that we did some pretty cool stuff. And yeah.
So you drum? I see a guitar in the background. Do you play guitar?
Yeah, I kind of mess around with the guitar, but I'm not a guitar player at all. No, yeah, drums is kind of my main thing. I've been playing since I was 7 years old in concert band, marching band, jazz band, all the way through all those things up through high school, and then never really meant to do it for real, but then got caught up with this band and we made some money together. I got him signed to my commercial agent when I was living in LA. So we booked commercials as a band. We booked like 3 commercials as a band. It was insane.
Like jingles or
no?
like...
Well, one client used one of our songs, this insurance company, and that was cool. And that was like a lot more money than we were expecting. But no, we would just be like a band in a commercial.
A band in the commercial. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, one time they did end up licensing one of our songs, and that was kind of unexpected and crazy. And I was like, oh, that's way more money than we were expecting. So yeah, that was nice. Yeah.
So I'm guessing, like, in addition to being able to play music, you guys looked like a band as well.
Yeah,
To be
we were all
cast in a commercial. Yeah.
it was like young rock and roll dudes,
Yeah.
just kind of playing the part,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've worked in film and television in LA and New York.
Mm-hmm.
You've, been on the acting side, auditions. Like, how do you compare the two?
I personally, New York is such a better fit for me. LA, there's something about New York where even when I'm not like working, booking a show or a movie or a theater thing, whatever it might be, like I always still feel like I'm kind of collaborating with really good people. And they're just yeah, there just seems to be a real sense of community and nurturing in this place that I didn't really find in Los Angeles. I'm sure it exists out there.
Hmm.
I just didn't find it. Um, and yeah, with New York, I just feel like it feels like, yeah, a lot more community based, this whole thing. And people will, there's a, it's not so much who you know or where you at or what credits you have, where people will take notice of you. It's just like, are you good or do I dig what you're doing? And um, the social kind of, the social ladder kind of climbing thing doesn't feel as necessary here than it does in LA, where it feels like things are kind of based on a social strata, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah. So when you reach a certain point, then you know, these certain people, and then you climb another step and you know these people. Here,
Hmm.
it's all just kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no lines there. Yeah.
I've noticed that too. Like, I mean, you're certainly more in it, but and I lived in LA before.
You did.
I
Okay.
wasn't working in film and television though, but as far as vibes, like New York is more my thing. But I do feel like it's so easy to get to know people here, and people are just really open to talking about if it's a cool project or you're doing something cool. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't matter if it's like a big deal, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's
And I've
just
noticed,
interesting is the key.
and I feel like this time right now with the state of the industry too,
Right.
there's just a lot of uncertainty. People don't know what's going on. The money's not really there anymore, and everyone's
Hmm.
just kind of trying to figure out what's happening. That's created a really cool like opportunity, I think, for you know, any kind of creative people in this, yeah, in this industry to kind of like find each other and work together. Some people have left and moved on to other, you know, fields of work, and that's great. That's fine. You know, we only make money, but the ones who are sticking around, they're like, okay, let me put these talents to use with other people who have other talents or
Yeah.
visions, and it's not about the money so much. It's just about doing the work, and that's been really
Hmm.
interesting, really fun. Um, and yeah, and I have this loft here that you've been to, Unit J, that, you know, and we've been able to do a lot of really fun stuff here. Real indie theater, film stuff, screenings, things like that, that have been really nice to yeah, kind of gather people together, um, but also hopefully inspire in some sense too, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely want to talk more about Unit J. We're going to take a quick break for these messages. This is Castle with Santa Fe International Film Festival, here with Rich Carrillo, and he's an actor, producer based in Bushwick, Brooklyn, New York. Be right back. And we're back. This is Castle with Santa Fe International Film Festival. This is Film Talk Weekly, and I'm here with Rich Carrillo, actor and producer, based in New York and spent some time in LA in film. You mentioned something in our last segment about uncertainty in the industry. For people that don't know what that uncertainty is and what's going on, like give your take on what's the deal in the industry right now.
I think with the, you know, us moving away from, I mean, which has been years, the cable kind of legacy cable setup is pretty much over, and everything's a streamer now, subscription based streaming on top of consolidation of the studios, and there isn't as much work happening. And the work that is happening isn't happening in the United States so much. One of the craziest things I've been hearing about how much it's cheaper for productions to move an entire production to England or Eastern Europe somewhere, that it's cheaper for them to shoot over there, move the whole production over there, shoot over there, than it is to shoot in Los Angeles or New York or anywhere else in the US. I don't understand how that all works, but
Yeah.
that seems to be the way it's going. So yeah, so there isn't nearly as much work as there was pre-COVID. So yeah, it's just there's just people are struggling in it. The work has moved out of the country,
Hmm.
especially especially on the crew side. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right. They would take an actor overseas probably, but
yeah. And on top of it too, because the residual kind of setup isn't the same either because of the streaming service rules. I know that during the strikes, the last strikes with SAG and the WGA, some things were worked out, but it's still not like it was previously. So
Mm.
actors are also not making nearly as much money as they used to through, network, through syndication, through that kind of thing. It's all really changed.
Weird
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, take me from the beginning, your origin story of like how you got involved in this craziness. Like what did you want to be when you grew up?
I never really knew. Growing up in a small town in Colorado, I was the middle of three brothers, and my parents divorced when I was really young, and so we were kind of my mom stuck close by. She remarried pretty quickly to my stepdad, who she's still with. Um, and yeah, I was 6 years old when they divorced, and so we were kind of going back and forth between there, which she lived about 20 minutes away, and my dad, who was traveling a lot with his work as an archaeologist, and we're just kind of thrown all over the place. And I think we were kind of left to our own devices a lot, me and my brother. So we were kind of those kids who were just running around the streets at all times, riding bikes, playing down in the river,
Mm-hmm.
getting into trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were just kind of those kind of kids. So, my dad was a pretty creative dude. He was a folk musician before he became an archaeologist. He was going to college down in South Carolina, and knew a bunch of really cool people. And he kind of, at a certain point, he kind of had to make a choice what he was going to do, and decided to take the archaeology route. But he always played music growing up, and I don't know, yeah, there was always some sort of creative thing happening there with him and my mom too. She was always a really cool like woodworker, made like ornamental gourds, wood burning things. Like
Hmm.
she sold a bunch of this to a movie thing back in the early 2000s. That was really interesting too.
Hmm.
That's a whole other story. But yeah, growing up in this small town, kind of going back and forth between the parents and not really having a bit of my parents were hippies too, and they kind of they were there, they were great, but they just kind of let us do our own thing. I didn't really feel like I got a lot of direction, so I had a lot of time to kind of play around within everything and
I
to
think
kind of
that's good.
discover. It could be good in some ways, but sometimes
Yeah.
like I wish there would have been a little bit more like, hey, do you like this? Let's focus on that.
A
And
little
like,
more. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, instead of like, you're fine. Because I played
Yeah.
baseball, like I played sports. I was like, did really well academically. I was in jazz band, I was in drama, all this kind of stuff. I just didn't know where to focus it all. I was trying to do everything. But yeah, by the time I got to high school and was, or my senior year in high school, and was trying to make a decision. I got into a couple of colleges. I actually got accepted into University of New Mexico in Albuquerque, and was
Hmm.
going to go study cultural anthropology there,
Oh, cool.
and kind of follow in my dad's footsteps, because I was always fascinated by that kind of work.
Yeah, that would have been one. If I wasn't a psychology major, that would have been a major for me too.
Really,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's a lot of it is connected to like the acting work too, but that's something else, to talk about. But um, yeah, I got into that school and I was set to go, but I kind of freaked out last minute, and I ended up joining the Navy.
Whoa.
And I ended up going into the Navy I did an enlistment in the Navy.
How does that happen last minute? Like did
I
someone recruit you? Like,
Well, yeah, they came through. Definitely, they came through the school as they do.
uh-huh.
And I was not really set. Like, he was like, yeah, I could have gone and had a scholarship and had college paid for and all that, but I wasn't really sure that's what I wanted to do. And I had a lot of pressure from my family for me to be like, okay, go to school and then
Mm-hmm.
come back home and be home.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of that where I was like, I don't want to live in this small town. I don't want to live in Colorado. Like,
Yeah.
I need to see so much more.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see a future, of me being able to really go have an adventure and explore not just the United States, but the world. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I kind of was like, I'm joining the military so I could go do that. And they would pay for college after I got out. So I was like, this
Right.
sounds like a
Yes.
win-win. So yeah, I went and did that. I worked in intelligence. I was a cryptologic technician on the communication side of things. So I worked a lot with like encrypted communications. It was wild, but I didn't I wrote on boats once in a while, but most of my work was like going out with like special operations teams and being like the secure link back to back to America, and that's with the people I was working with. Yeah,
Wow.
it was crazy. It was a wild time. I was like 19, 20 years old, and I was like in Yemen and Ecuador for like 6 months at
Wow.
a time, living out of hotels, working out of embassies, wearing no uniform, a pistol
So how
packed in the
did you
back
get
of
the
my
cool
pants.
job in the Navy?
I graduated top of my class in
Okay.
all my training. Yeah, that was
Uh-huh.
it. I was just like, I wanted, and there was like incentive to that too, because it kind of like tell you, like the better you did in your training, the more say you had of where you were going to go,
Uh-huh.
where they would station you. So there was real incentive to try to just be the
Yeah.
best. So yeah, so it was kind of my whole thing with that. And yeah, I graduated top of my class. And the guy who was running the school there told me about this place. And he was like, you should try this. And they let me in. I was the youngest person they let into this unit at the time. Um, yeah, it was wild. One of these wild adventures around the world. And being a kid, being so young, this is like the war on terror and all this stuff in the Middle East, right? So I was like
Mhm.
freaking out. And I don't know, I had a lot of my own thoughts on these things. And especially my time in Yemen, Sana'a, Yemen, ancient, beautiful city, 7,000 feet above sea level.
Mhm.
Queen of Sheba had gone through there. Like, and my dad being an archaeologist, history was such a big
Right.
part of my
Yeah.
life. And
You're
I
like
was so
Indiana
fascinated.
Jones kind of or
Yeah,
something.
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a wild time. And I don't know. And I met so many amazing people in Yemen. I always wanted to talk about religion, and I grew up Catholic, even though I don't practice it. But it was a part of my life, and talking to these people who were so devoutly Muslim, and there was
Mhm.
this real tension between the United States and their people because of 9/11, and
Yeah.
things were always kind of sketch and intense. But like being able to talk to just people on the ground there who were so kind and so curious, and
Mhm.
I just was kind of like, I can't do this anymore. So I kind of got a bit outspoken while I was
Mhm.
in uh, about what we were doing out there, and the higher ups didn't really like that, and I got myself into a bit of trouble. Not enough to get kicked out, but I definitely was threatened with some pretty serious stuff, and I just kind of just did the rest of my time and got out, and then yeah, ended up in Los Angeles, got into UCLA's theater program, and just kind of ran from there with it. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
So you had this childhood with no structure really, and then you found structure, like the ultimate structure for yourself, like the Navy.
Yeah, it's such
Yeah.
the other side of the pendulum, right? Like
Yeah,
it wasn't,
yeah.
and I think it did help a lot. Like I think that's what I was seeking out, even if it was like
Mhm.
subconsciously, But
Yeah.
I think I was seeking that out, and I think it did help me along the way. I still kind of live kind of fast and loose, but there is some intention behind it all, and I think
Mhm.
that time in the military, if there's one thing that I could take away from it, it was that that it gave me some discipline and some structure, and it
Yeah,
paid for me to go to college.
totally. Yeah.
Yeah, and I got to see the world in a weird way.
Yeah. And I feel like there's a cool story there too that
Yeah. This isn't like a endorsement
I
for
don't know if
joining the
you're,
military.
I don't know if you know. This is not, yeah, you do not support this message, but
Yeah.
there's probably a cool story there if you're allowed to tell it, I bet.
There is a lot there that I honestly, yeah, it's not anything too wild, but I can't really, yeah, talk about
Hmm.
a lot of the stuff that happened. But I
Yeah.
didn't do anything heinous, or I got lucky. I got out of there, mostly unscathed. My body took a beating through all the training and stuff we had to do, but like
Hmm.
I had some friends I grew up with who went into the army, some who never came back, and some when they
Hmm.
did come back were just not the same.
Yeah.
And I feel like I got really lucky on that
Yeah.
side. Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to come right back with these. We have these messages. We're going to come back and talk more about what you're doing now. Get into that. So this is Rich Carrillo, actor, producer, based in Bushwick, Brooklyn, New York. This is Castle with Santa Fe International Film Festival, Film Talk Weekly. Be right back. Welcome back. This is Castle with Film Talk Weekly Radio and the Santa Fe International Film Festival, here with Rich Carrillo, actor, producer, based in Bushwick, Brooklyn, New York. And so last we were talking about you were in the Navy, then you went to theater school at UCLA, right?
Yeah.
Um, Talk about that. So you're an actor. You went there to learn how to be an actor, like, or had you
Yeah.
studied theater in high school, or like?
I did some, yeah, but
Mhm.
not it wasn't crazy. More like in elementary school and junior high, I was much more into like the theater stuff. And in high school I kind of backed out about a bit. I was more into like music, playing drums and marching band, jazz band, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I had to audition, write essays, all that for UCLA School of Theater, Film, and Television, and surprisingly got in. So yeah, I went there as a junior. So I did 2 years there, transferred in. Had some amazing teachers that really just kind of gave me a better understanding of how to kind of approach the whole craft, you know? And a
Yeah,
lot of it
I
was,
mean, a lot of people don't go to like a 2-year, 4-year program for acting. They'll just take acting classes. Like what was
yeah.
the difference? Like, what do you think? Why did you choose that route?
Well, they had a really good track record. They were always like in the top three, like undergrad programs for acting schools in the country. And I was living in San Diego before that when I was in the Navy. So that put me in, 3 hours north. It put me right in the center where the business is too. So I was
Hmm.
like, well, if I'm going to go to school, study this, I want to be where the business is. So
Sure.
yeah,
Smart.
so that was it. Um, yeah, so that was a really, really good experience. Had some amazing teachers, but the curriculum it wasn't a BFA, it was a BA program. So we still had to take like all the other classes on
Hmm.
top of, studying
Okay.
all the theater stuff, which was acting, voice and speech, movement, a bunch of other stuff. And if you're in the musical theater program, there's all those classes as well. So it was a pretty intense, you know, course. But I got through it. Had some amazing mentors there. Scott Conti was my acting teacher. Tom Orr, the movement. Um, yeah, it was really, really good. Learned Linklater technique for voice and speech, and yeah, but the training there was really big on kind of just like getting you out of your head and kind of just like learning how to focus on just being natural and being present, And it was a really big, not only just for acting, but it was really good for just like everyday life.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Which I'm sure a lot of actors talk about that, where yeah, the training kind of gets you out of your shell and gets you just more comfortable inside your body, a
Uh-huh.
little more free, a little more just accessible to yourself, and yeah, yeah, the movement classes I took there were some of the best. That like I never understood like how to be in my body until someone had to be like, "This is how you check in." It's like, oh my god! And then all
Oh,
of a sudden you're just like, oh wow! Like I know how I'm holding myself,
I
and
don't know how to.
oh, it's incredible. If you ever get a chance to take something like that, like Alexander technique or anything like that, it really just kind of allows you to check in and do these exercises that
Okay.
are incredible. And all of a sudden you're just like looser and
I
aware.
feel we should get that manual when we become a human,
Yeah,
you know?
right. Yeah, I don't know why they don't teach us this right out of
Yeah.
the gate. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah.
So that it kind of teaches you how to be more yourself, you're saying, like,
I think that's what all this training does. And I think it's, if even if you're not trying to pursue this as a career, I think it's really good if you are looking for that, like to get any sort of acting courses or anything within that realm are just such a, positive. It's only going to be a positive kind of addition
and
to your
it probably
career.
helps steer you towards the roles or like the types of things that you would naturally be good. It's like this is like a Halloween costume. Like go with someone you already look like, or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, right.
It's going to
Well,
be that much better.
yeah, and that's the thing with this too, right? Like we always, you think that like, oh, you got to transform and become this other person. And it's like you can't do that. That's not even that's not even possible. You got to be like on a real other level, of humanity to be able to do that. At the end of the day, you're still going to be you, and you got to take your own experiences and you bring your
Well,
own
well,
self
it's an
into.
advantage, because
Yeah,
yeah.
and one of the things that I learned too was like from one of my movement teacher, Tom Orth, was always big about experiencing life. He's like, you're an actor, but yes, you've got to experience life because you're portraying life. So you got to go out there and do other things, live, so that you have this wealth of
Yeah.
experience inside of you when it's time for you to portray somebody.
Right.
Um, I think that's true. Why that's also why like actors tend to be more entertaining or more interesting as they get older. You know, it's because they've lived more life. So when you're watching
Mhm.
them be a human being on screen or on the stage, it's like, oh, they have more to go off of because
Right,
they
right.
lived. Yeah. This
Yeah.
experience they're portraying in this fictional piece, they might have some sort of connection to it because of,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So,
A
yeah.
reference or people they met. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So you finished school, you stayed in LA
Yeah.
and auditions and like what did you do? What did you do for work? Like are
I
you a
started
full-time actor right now? Like
right
full-time
now,
production and
right
acting?
now, acting and producing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And then with the space that I know we'll talk about later, running that's kind of
Hmm.
intertwined with all this stuff. But no, yeah, I had a buddy who was bartending, and he gave me his resume to copy. I'd never worked in a restaurant or bar before, and he just gave me his resume to use, and I
Mm-hmm.
lied my way into that. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I bartended off and on for 12 years. Yeah, just up until last year. I still work one night a week at a
Mm-hmm.
friend's place in Williamsburg.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the that's like the working in restaurants, bars is kind of the best way to get through that. The flexibility is kind of the best way to get through.
Flexibility, you're meeting people,
Meeting people, yeah, yeah,
you're on, you know, like
yeah.
I could see it, I could totally see that. Yeah, I've
The only
bartended
thing you got to be
before.
careful for is getting too caught up in the late nights.
The
It's really
lifestyle.
easy. Yeah, if you're
Totally.
working a bar, you get free. You have all the booze. You can drink as much as you want. If and a lot of bars, especially when you're in New York.
Mm-hmm.
LA wasn't as cool, but New York, like the people that own bars out here, they're like, yeah, just you can drink, just take it easy. And it's like, oh, okay,
Just don't be drunk. Yeah.
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 So you just got to be careful for that.
Yeah. And it's late nights and yeah.
Late nights, yeah, you start getting caught up in a lot of wild stuff. So you just got to watch it. But otherwise, it's good money and it's flexible and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's very social and yeah. I've met people through bartending, producers, filmmakers,
I'm sure.
other actors who I've like stayed in. We've collaborated on things. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's probably time for these messages again. We'll be right back. This is Film Talk Weekly Radio. I'm your guest host, Castle, Santa Fe International Film Festival with Rich Carrillo, actor, producer, Brooklyn. We'll be right back. And we're back. This is Film Talk Weekly Radio. We're here with Rich Carrillo from Brooklyn, New York. Also from Colorado, for those of you just joining us, spends time in Southern Colorado, a lot of time in Santa Fe. Rich, now we're going to get to what you're doing now. And I want to say I looked at your website and everyone should look at it because I thought it was the most organized, like it was just really well informed, really well organized for a performer. It's Richard M. Carrillo, CARRILLO.com. But it was so good. Like it had like everything you need, like to know about
Oh,
you. And
thanks. Yeah.
yeah, like all the right links and like I even like, but it's also very simple and had your voiceover work, right? And like
Yeah. Yeah.
and your all the
Reviews.
dialects you do and
Oh, yeah.
reviews, like it was just really easy to get. Like I'm probably going to show it as an example to my students on just a great simple website, like here's what I do.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. No, I just put it
Yeah,
together myself. It was like one of those, I don't remember what,
like Squarespace.
hosting. Yeah. Squarespace, I
Yeah,
think is what it is. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
well it's
Cool.
really well organized.
Awesome. Good to know. Thanks.
Yeah, so like from that I learned that you do different dialects, and then I clicked a link and watched your you as a cartel boss, and I really
Yeah.
enjoyed that. You were so great, and you do have that
Thanks.
accent dialect. Like,
Yeah.
whoa.
Well, I am my father's side. Mexican, French, Irish on my dad's side, and
Mm-hmm.
French and Italian on my mom's side. So, and grew up in Southern Colorado. There's a very Mexican American kind of that's a very strong part of the
Mm-hmm.
culture there. So it's very similar to New Mexican culture. So yeah, so I kind of always had it. So you always hearing people talk, but it's crazy. For so long, I would go out for Latino roles, but wouldn't get cast because they were saying I didn't look Latino enough. But it was always kind of this weird, ambiguous kind of thing for some time. And it's just cool as now I'm getting a little bit older. For some reason, I think I'm kind of like fitting into it a bit more. And yeah, that thing you saw was the director Phil Kibbe. We worked on another project together, and yeah, they had to let somebody go for that role, and he asked me to do it. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, hell yeah. And I was like, let's have fun with this,
You were
How
great, and
thanks.
yeah, like yeah.
And playing, thank you so much. And it was so much fun because, I get to play like a cartel guy. I had my two soldiers with me. Those guys were awesome. They were both MMA fighters. And they've never acted before, but they were so perfectly cast,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like smaller than them, but like, it was just fun to be a little bit more like they're the scary guys. And I'm kind of the loose, like,
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
more of a psychopath,
Right,
guy.
right.
And,
Yeah.
yeah, that's so much fun.
Yeah. So you're acting, but you also run Unit J here in Brooklyn. Talk about
Yeah.
that, because that is like it's part of your job, or it's a separate
Yeah, well, it's my home. It's a loft in
And your
Bushwick.
home. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a loft space in Bushwick that I came into almost 9 years ago. A friend of mine was living here, and a room opened up, asked me if I wanted to live here. There were six of us living here at the time. And
So
yeah,
this
it was
is how I
started.
met you. By the way, listeners, like Loft and Found, your show
Yes,
was playing
yes,
at Series Fest in Denver, the pilot, and that's
yeah,
where we first met in person,
yeah.
through a connection in New
So
York. Yeah.
and the creator of that, director creator, was also somebody who'd lived here for a time. And he does a lot of documentary work, and he wanted to try to capture this place,
He
in a
did.
way. And he thought
I
maybe documentary, but it's like, oh, let's make a mockumentary instead.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We all got to make fun of ourselves, and it was a lot of fun. But yeah,
I loved it.
there's a little bit of a Peter Pan-ness I think people see when you walk into this place, because it's like kind of out of a TV show from, like a New York TV show from
It
10,
is. It
20 years ago.
totally is. Yes.
Yeah, and there aren't a lot of these places left, but I'm very fortunate to have it. The guys who used to, Eli Bridges, who's a great actor musician, he was the one who found this place. He's still here in the neighborhood, and yeah, we just have a stage built out, lighting rig, sound, and we do a lot of theater. We do a lot of film screenings. We filmed a lot of stuff here, and then like we had that party the other night where you came through for the
Yeah.
Oscars, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and it's just kind of I'm really lucky to have this place to be able to like not only get to show my work but also other people's work, and then also just get to gather people around and meet.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
definitely is a venue. I think you on Instagram you call it a DIY type space. Like,
yeah, it's a DIY venue. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. And yeah, and it's home, so it's kind of a weird thing to balance because there's some nights you're just letting dozens and dozens of strangers into your home.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're cool. We haven't had any real serious problems with it.
Yeah.
And we were doing a lot of music back in the day, which brought in a different kind of crowd, a lot of punk bands and things like that, which brought in a certain type of crowd. Now we're doing, like I said, more theater and more performance art stuff, more film stuff. And the music side, we're doing a lot more. I don't know. There's a buddy of mine, Luis Velasquez, out here, who's a really great music promoter and knows everybody, and he gets a lot of avant-garde, eclectic kind of artists, musical artists.
Yeah.
So he and I have been teaming up a bit for that kind of thing. So a little more adult, but we're still, make it fun. Yeah.
Yeah. It's still Peter
Yeah.
Pan's. Yeah.
Still Peter Pan in a bit.
Yeah.
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 Gonna do that
Well,
forever.
I'm your
Yeah.
Wendy. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm a Peter Panette. I don't know.
Hell yeah. No, that's it. We shouldn't, I think we can still be kids and still like, pay our bills.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So you said this is your full-time work now. This is what you're doing. Like, give me an idea of something
Yeah.
you're working on.
Yeah. Well, right now there are two feature film projects I'm involved with. One I'm a producer on as well as an actor. I have a lot of theater projects coming up, and that I'm involved with on the producing side, full productions, readings, things like that we do out of the space. Um, I also pick up drumming gigs still every once in a while.
Oh.
Not really like with bands anymore, but just like corporate kind of things, which it's like a one-off. You're there for half a day, they give you a nice fat paycheck, and it's like, okay, this is the way to do it. So I'm not doing the cool stuff
What do
anymore.
you mean
But yeah,
a corporate drumming gig? Like you do drum,
oh
like my mind immediately went to like you do drum rolls for people.
yeah, no, a buddy of mine got me involved in this, who's a really incredible drummer, and he has a brass band out here called High and Mighty Brass Band, and basically like there'll be like a big corporate conference at the Sheraton in Midtown, and they have this musical number that they want to do, so they'll bring in like dancers and singers, and one time there's people on stilts, and we're basically like, I'll be on a bass drum, he'll be on a snare, and it's just like kind of doing like a first line New Orleans kind of style thing. So doing stuff like that. Did one for like Bergdorf Goodman around Christmas time when they were unveiling their new window display for Christmas. Like the Pix 11 was there, like, and New York One was there. It was like a crowd of hundreds of people, and we're just like playing. It's like like
cool,
ridiculous, but but those are like real gigs that you could get out here that pay like real money.
Yeah.
So stuff like that. So yeah, again, like you're saying, like the industry isn't great right now, but everything I'm doing at this point is like within that performance, and and then the other side of it of trying to get people together and event producing, I guess, too, at the space. Yeah.
I just feel like there's such a place there. everyone tries to think what's next, and like with AI and like not being able to tell what's real. There's gonna be a place for real in person, a return to the real in person stuff.
Yeah.
There has to be, because like you can't tell
Yeah,
what's real anymore, or
yeah.
it's only going to get worse. Like being able to tell what's real, and it's like you're
We,
going to want to go see a tiny live show,
yeah.
Well,
And we are seeing that here. I think we're seeing a lot in New York. There's like, I know what I've been doing here always fills the house. When it comes to live performance, there's another company out here I work with that I really, really like. They're called Adult Film. Um, and they do a lot of really cool work in the neighborhood. We've done some stuff collaborative with them here in the space. Their shows are always sold out. There's a there's I've been to the city for other kind of variety performance shows, and everything is
mhm,
like people want to see live performance. And when if you could keep the tickets, you try to go to Broadway or off Broadway shows, and it's
mhm,
so inaccessible for just normal people. You have to
mhm,
think about, like, you're paying hundreds of dollars for a ticket to see your favorite movie star on a stage, and it's like
mhm,
that's not the way it should be. But a lot of these smaller things in Manhattan, in Brooklyn,
mhm.
and Queens, like, there are really good artists out there doing really good stuff, and the price point is accessible.
It's like
And
$10 and $20. Yeah,
yeah,
like,
10, $20, $25 even. It's like, I'll pay. I'm going to go
that's a
see a show tomorrow.
cocktail. It's a
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. It's like,
here,
and you get entertained for an hour and a half, two
and
hours, and
it's really good. Like,
yeah, exactly, yeah,
and I think that's the case in all cities. Like I spend half my time in Denver and, at Santa Fe. Like you just see like amazing performers, in person.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way to go. And I love going to the movie theater still. I still go all the time, and I know that's taking a big old hit right now, and I hope there's a resurgence in that too. But yeah, like you said, I
Right.
just read this thing with AI. I saw this write up today about Val Kilmer is in a movie coming out soon where they mostly use generative AI for his performance, and it's like, they talk about, like, it was his wishes, it was his family's, his estate's wishes,
Yes,
blah blah. But
I've
it's
read
still
about.
like,
Yeah.
but
I
it's like,
know.
yeah, but like, do we
Yeah.
need to bring Val Kilmer back from the dead? It's a little weird. It's a little creepy, and
Yeah.
I don't like it. I'm
Yeah.
not. Yeah, I'm not trying to be all like, oh, there's a place for it somewhere within all this, and but I think when it's like when it's being human, it's I don't
Hmm.
know. I'm not into it. Not into it. Yeah,
Yeah. And I think like yeah, people are just gonna be craving like real in person IRL.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
definitely I think that's the
yeah.
future.
I agree, and and I think that's the big reason why I've been leaning into the theater stuff a lot, especially here, but just in
Mhm.
general. It's like it's it's happening, and you can already see it. Yeah, you can already see it.
Yeah.
People want a real life experience.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And the more we stare at our screens, the more we kind of crave that, I think.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think the screens aren't going anywhere. So
Yeah,
yeah,
they're not.
yeah.
All right, what else? I think our time is pretty much up. Give us your Instagrams.
Yeah, my Instagram is at Rich Carrillo, but there is an extra R at the top and an extra O in the back.
Okay.
So it's RRICHCARRILLOO.
Okay.
And then my website, richardmcarrillo.com, and all my links are there too. And check out Lost and Found, and that's on my website. And yeah, thank you all
Yeah, and Unit
for having me,
J,
Castle.
right? Is
Yeah, if you're in Brooklyn, you're in New York anytime, look up Unit J Bushwick on Instagram.
Mhm.
We're doing events all the time, and come by.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Thanks again. This has been Rich Carrillo, actor producer, Unit J. This is Castle with Film Talk Weekly Radio, Santa Fe International Film Festival coming up on October 14th through 19th. And yeah, we'll talk to you soon, Rich.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much.
Okay. Bye.